A lot of baseball to be played in Hoover, Alabama over the next 6 days. We'll see how long LSU can stick around. As long as they do, the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, will be there. He joins us from Hoover now. How loaded is that itinerary for you, Chris? Locked and loaded?
Yeah, just trying to get this rain out of here, gentlemen. It's rained since we arrived here in Hoover yesterday from Nashville, and now it's just partly cloudy. It's supposed to be cloudy the rest of today, but the bad news is just keeping an eye on the radar, the projected radar. Looks like we're going to have to deal with rain for sure Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll have to bob and weave, see if we can get all these games in.
Well, Hoover is no stranger to 2 a.m. baseball for the SEC tournament. Let's hope the Tigers don't end up in one of those, but they are on the late side of the draw. Have you figured this baseball team out yet? Because I'm struggling a little bit.
No, I was asked this morning. I did a show this morning. They said, which team do you think is more true to this team, what we saw this past weekend or what we saw the weekend before? And to be honest with you, I think you and I both have been guilty, as well as a lot of people, to look back at certain games, certain sections of games, or certain series and say, okay, this one they've turned the corner. I think some of that has to do with the fact that when you play in the SEC every weekend, to borrow a term from Nick Saban, there's a lot of parity. But it's just, I don't know. Is the team we saw this weekend more the team LSU is? I will tell you this. Thursday we got to the park in Nashville. I went into the dugout, and typically the lineup, Jay keeps that pretty close to the vest, but this is 2 hours to first pitch, and it's up there on the wall. And I noticed Dylan Cruz in the leadoff spot. And I asked Coach, I said, okay, we're going with Dylan to top the order. He said, Chris, this lineup right here we put together to hit home runs and get Dylan Cruz to the plate as many times as we can get him there. So I think with the addition of Jacob Berry being able to go pretty much for the 3 games, I know he was replaced late in game 3. They did that, 11 home runs. And Dylan Cruz on Thursday night came to the plate 6 times and reached base all 6 times. So is this lineup maybe the secret sauce for the type of offensive explosion of 42 runs over 3 games? I guess we'll see.
Chris, it pains me to say this, but Blake Money has been getting hit extremely hard in his last few appearances. Do you think this pitching staff is done putting him in the lineup for the rest of the season?
I don't know if he's going to be a starter, to be honest with you, Jeremy. I thought he had his moments coming in relief over the weekend. And I don't know if it's a situation where he puts so much pressure on himself to start a game as opposed to coming in. But Jay's told me continually when I've asked him about Blake, just that he's a top-notch competitor, and that they need him to pitch. He's going to pitch. Where that'll be, we'll just have to wait and see. I think this week, again, hopefully the weather is going to allow us to play things, in its entirety. I think it'll be interesting to see how this rotation goes based on how he handled it this past week, to be kind of a foreteller of what we will see when they move into NCAA play. That's one of the things I'm certainly going to keep an eye on and see if we can find a trend there. He builds this whole year, and Bill Franquez and I came over from Nashville yesterday to Hoover. One of the things Bill said that I thought was spot on, and he's been around some pretty good coaches. Everything leads up to the postseason for Coach Johnson. Everything from fall ball to preseason to the first game of the year, first game of SEC play. Everything is built, tinkered with, decided on, minds are changed. Everything's built to where we are right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how this team and how it's all put together.
Chris Blair joins us here on Hunt and Hill. I was thinking about asking Braden Joubert when we have him on at 1 o'clock, but I'm going to spare him. I'll put you on the spot here. I know you've attended the finest medical schools in the Southeast like I have. I got a first baseman with a knee brace on. Barry's got an ice bag on. Obviously, we know what happened with Cade Doty. Any sort of health update over there with these guys?
No, and the truth is, we were in the team hotel. Obviously, we stayed in Nashville Saturday night. Basically talking to everybody there. We had breakfast with the team Sunday before we left. There's a lot of unknowns. I mean, there's obviously some things we know have happened. How they, what we see come Wednesday night, I got to be honest with you, Hunt. I know Coach is going to have a presser today at some point. or a visit with the media. I'm sure he's going to be asked then. And the truth of the matter is, I don't know if he's got definitive answers. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but, I mean, just being around them as we were all leaving to come to Hoover, it wasn't as if this guy's in, this guy's out. He's going to be out for 8 days. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in flux. So I don't know that if you want to ask Braden, I don't know if he has the answers either. But I think only time's going to tell.
I believe that to be the case as well. They just need to be ready to go next Friday. We'll see what happens when they're in Hoover. Doing this and covering college sports the way we have, every once in a while you see some guys, whether it's on the football field, basketball court, or baseball diamond, that you realize you're watching a really good one at the time. What kind of vibes do you get watching Dylan Cruz play?
It's amazing. I mean, I've said it a bunch of times when he comes to the plate, and Jay's told me several times, when Jacob went out in Alabama, he said the offense now is set up. What we're trying to set up is to get as many people on base when Dylan comes to the plate. This weekend, as I touched on, they wanted him to start everything and just do what he can do. And it's amazing to watch. You get to a point where I know he's batting around 350, I guess. They say if you do that in this game of baseball, you're a good hitter, because failure is going to happen more times than not when you're at the plate. That's just what the numbers tell you. But I get to the point where he comes to the plate, I'm like, all right, is it going to be a single? Is he going to slap it off the wall? Or is this one going to go nearly, 450 feet? And that's what we just come to expect. And I'll be honest, Jacob Berry, when he's in there, it's like, okay, what's he going to do here? Is he going to go opposite field? Is he going to get an extra base hit? And that just, to me, tells you, and I think a lot of people feel that way, including opposing teams. That just goes to show you how incredible it is to have this opportunity to watch both of those guys. But having Dylan Cruz here last year, having him this year, and the possibility, again, the expectation of next year is, we've been very lucky. And trust me, when he's gone, there'll be some great players come behind him. LSU always has great players. But you're going to say, man, a couple of years from now, if Dylan Cruz is in this lineup, I think he's that good.
How impressive was it to see Ty Floyd come in and pitch for this team over the weekend, especially after being taken out as a weekend start and being put in the bullpen?
That's a great question, Jeremy, because I think that kind of follows up with your question about Blake Money. Again, I think if they find a place for Blake to come in situationally, again, he came in and got that final strikeout when they needed it over the weekend. But Ty Floyd, to me, is the bigger story because, okay, it's been hard to put together three starters in a conference weekend. You got Mikael Hilliard. The other two are kind of TBD. And now all of a sudden Ty Floyd's found this secondary pitch where he doesn't even have to throw it a lot. If he just shows them a couple of breaking balls or that one curve that he gets over for a strike, you can tell that's not in the scouting report. And it takes them back a little bit. Suddenly they become a little unbalanced. And then, maybe he throws you another breaking ball, or maybe he just burns it and sends a strike down the middle of the plate about 94, 95 miles an hour. So the fact that he's been able to, at times, and certainly this past weekend, control his secondary pitch and have good command tells me that I expect to see a good bit of Ty Floyd not only this week, but as Hunt will constantly remind me, it really matters starting next week.
You got the golf clubs with you?
Yeah, but it's raining. I mean, like I said, it's let up now. They said the chance is starting to dwindle, but I don't know. I mean, the last thing you want to do is, again, we're sharing vehicles, so it's not as if I can just say, "Hey guys, I'll see you in 4 hours." So you have to pick your spots and pick your time. So right now it's still awfully gray and still a little wet.
Well, let's hope you're there all week. We appreciate some time, Chris. Thanks.
All right, guys, have a good week.
Thanks so much for watching Hunt and Hill on YouTube.
Now do us a favor. Hit the red subscribe button below and throw us a like. We'll see you next time.